Attention shoppers, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon and Tony. Prince Harry and Wildcat Meghan Markle have picked a wedding day, May 19th.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. The Queen says she wants me there, but Prince Philip may be on to us.
You think Prince Philip is really worried about that at this point of both their lives?
I think it's possible. He's awake 5 to 6 hours a day, maybe meaningful. So Meghan Markle is a Wildcat? She's Northwestern?
Wildcat. Gotta be a lot of purple. Gonna be a lot. How about that? She fits right into the royal purple anyway.
I am then very surprised that you won't be at that wedding. Since you are Mr. Northwestern.
I didn't tell you I wouldn't be, big
Welcome
boy.
to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, LeBron beats Lonzo, a Jets coach gives up, and Herm Edwards' new job just got tougher. But we begin today with what looks like the biggest game of the regular NFL season, New England at Pittsburgh in the Sunday late game. The winner of this game is likely to have home field throughout the playoffs. Wilbon, is this a bigger game for the Patriots or for the Steelers?
For the Steelers, Tony. They've lost 4 straight to New England. This is easy. They're also still trying to figure out how to replace Ryan Shazier out there at linebacker, and they can't do that. And Tom Brady's going to have Gronk back in the lineup in the middle of that field to play with. And so it's a bigger game for the Steelers. The Steelers, I don't want to hear anybody in Pittsburgh say, oh, we don't have anything to prove. Yeah, you do. That's what sports is about. Every week, you have something to prove to somebody, the opponent, the fans who are watching, your sponsors, whoever's writing the big check. There's plenty to prove and more of it for Pittsburgh, even though they have got plenty of Super Bowls on their mantle as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a big game for both teams because it means home field, at least likely to mean home field. And I understand your logic. The fact is, the last 4 times that New England and Pittsburgh have played, including once in Pittsburgh, New England has won all of those. So I thought originally that it meant more to Pittsburgh, but I have turned on this. And I think it means more to New England. The last time New England won a road game in the playoffs was 2007. The way Brady looked against Miami gives everybody a certain reason to believe that maybe something is wrong. And I'll tell you this other thing, Mike. I think that Pittsburgh is more capable of winning on the road. I think they're a more complete offense. They got Le'Veon Bell, they got Antonio Brown, they got Ben Roethlisberger. And so I'm going to honestly disagree and think it means more to New England.
Tony, Pittsburgh better be better equipped to win on the road because New England doesn't play on the road. They just wrap up home field every year. They got to win 2 games at home. They win those 2 games in Foxborough, they go to the Super Bowl. That's how that works.
That's right.
As often as not for New England.
That's why they need it more, because they can't win on the road.
Yeah, but my thing is they don't have to. We don't know if they can't win. It's a small sample size you're talking about there, Tony. Look, both of these teams are capable of winning this game. But I will say this, too. Pittsburgh's had some squirrely results this year. They've lost a couple of games, including one to the Bears, where you go, what the hell are the Steelers doing? They're not awake. So let's see what happens with them.
I think I have more doubts about New England than I do about Pittsburgh.
I'm surprised to hear that, Tom. Wait a minute. We have Saturday business to talk about. A game which just weeks ago we thought was going to be a waste of time now has enormous playoff implications. Chargers at Chiefs. The winner is in the driver's seat in the AFC West. The Chargers, they're attempting to become the first team since the 1992 Chargers of Bobby Ross and Stan Humphries to go from 0-4 to the playoffs.
What is that?
But the Chargers franchise has lost 7 straight to the Chiefs. Tone, if the Chargers win this game in Kansas City, will you be back to believing in them?
I didn't ever not believe in them. You've been on this show for a million years. You go all the way back to Norv Turner coaching the Chargers, and it was you who said they take naps. I never believe in them, they take naps. If they win this game in Kansas City, especially considering the way the Chiefs last week handled Oakland, which was a similar game for them, a first-place game, and they suffocated Oakland. So if the Chargers win this, yes, I will believe in them. That will mean that they have won 8 out of 10 games and would arguably be the hottest team in the AFC. I got to admit to you, I'm very surprised that they're a 1-point favorite. I thought the Chiefs would be a favorite.
Yeah.
But if the Chargers win, yes, I will. So will you, right?
I always say I don't go to Vegas on these things. I may go on this one. The Chargers being a 1-point favorite. Tony, let me say this. Every time, there are two franchises, both in the AFC, that the moment you begin to count on them in any particular year, and they will get to the playoffs a lot, that is when you look like an enormous idiot.
San Diego and Cincinnati, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
you
sure.
can't count on them.
Right, I
and
know.
by the way, I could add a third team, not in the AFC. The other would be the Detroit Lions. Because historically, meaning the last, 12 to 15 years, certainly within the last 20, that Bobby Ross, Dan Humphries team was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
That team had played, for a Super Bowl. So, Tony, I cannot trust the Chargers. I do not believe they'll win the game at all.
Okay, maybe you don't. Well, obviously you don't believe they're going to win the game. The Kansas City Chiefs started out 5-0. The Chargers started out 0-4. If you went from 0-4 to the playoffs, if you went from 0-4 to win your division, you'd have to believe in them. You would have to.
If you do. Okay. I don't believe they're going to wind up winning this game, though.
By the way, do you like the lining in this? This is really nice.
What is that? It looks flammable. What are you doing?
John Morton, the offensive coordinator of the New York Jets, has admitted he gave up last week in the fourth quarter against the Denver Broncos when the Broncos were leading 23-0. Morton said, quote, "Listen, the game was out of hand. I don't like saying no mas, but it was time to get out of there. I'm not going to have these guys run a bunch of routes and something bad happen or make bad decisions. I didn't want that to happen, so I just wanted to run it and just get out of there," unquote. Wilbon, do you have any problem with John Morton admitting he gave up?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'd have less problem with just employing that strategy and saying, look, we were getting our butts kicked. We had to go back and work on some basic things we could rely on in the coming week or two. We had to go back to basics. I ran it that way. I didn't want to get anybody hurt, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You say what you say. You fudge it a little bit. But what are you saying? You are, coaches all the time. We talked about this with somebody yesterday. He talks about how he sends signals through in these media conferences to his team. Well, we got to presume that the Jets players know what's being said at some point. They will be monitoring it live. But, Tony, I do. I think that you should not go out and say, we stunk it out so bad, we just had to tuck tail.
Yeah, this is a show based on honest disagreement most of the time, and I agree with you 100%. You can do this, but don't talk about it. Don't call attention to it. That is a bad look to me. They had no chance of winning that game. Josh McCown was out. They went to Bryce Petty. They let him throw the ball. He finished 1 of 8 for only 7 yards. And they were probably thinking to themselves, we got to get him off the field before he starts throwing pick sixes. Right. So we're just going to run it. And I agree 100% with the strategy, but I would not have admitted that either. I would not have.
Tony, I hate to say it, because football coaches so rarely speak the truth
and he did
about
and
anything
now we're slamming
strategic.
Him. We're
and
slamming.
He did, and now we're smacking him.
It's not fair.
I feel guilty. I think there's a way to sort of get at both things without admitting everything.
I mean, you got to protect your quarterback because with McCown out,
yes,
he's giving you the next 3 games.
Yes, you
can't ruin his confidence. So,
probably ruined it anyway now. Let's get to some NBA, Tone. Specifically, the Cavaliers beating the Lakers last night in Cleveland. The sidebar, actually bigger than the game. LeBron taking the time at the end to counsel rookie Lonzo Ball to find his zone
at him
and
like
stay
like a catcher going out to the pitcher, holding his glove up.
Well, presumably, LeBron was telling Lonzo his zone is inside the three-point arc, where he is a pretty darn effective player already. Tony, the Cavaliers got the win. But was the night in any way a win for Lonzo Ball?
Here's how it's a win for Lonzo Ball. If next year LeBron James goes to the Lakers and plays with Lonzo Ball, because the type of praise that he says of Lonzo is always the same, and it goes like this. You know what I like about his game? He doesn't need the ball. He doesn't need the ball. You know who needs the ball in that equation? LeBron needs the ball. But, and this is an important thing, at LeBron's age, he doesn't want to have to work so hard to bring up the ball anymore. Right. So he's out on the court with Paul George, presumably, and Lonzo Ball. And Lonzo is giving him the ball exactly where he wants it. This is a strategic play for next year, Mike. That's what it is.
You think LeBron was that obvious with this?
Yes.
Telling the kid to hang in there, Tony, maybe
Why did he cover his mouth if that wasn't what it was about?
He said the media's going to take this and go crazy, and that's fine, but you don't have to get into that. And I thought all this was well played by LeBron. I'm not going to disagree with what you said there. I pretty much agree with you. But, Tony, LeBron mentors in this league. This is his time to do that. He's in his, 14th year? 15? I don't know what it is. Whatever it is.
He's 60 years old.
It's senior time in terms of mentoring these kids. And this is the kind of thing where even when guys were, like, afraid of Michael Jordan, this is what he did. This is what Magic Johnson did. I don't know if Bird was sort of that friendly and fuzzy. Did he ever did that?
I don't think so.
But this is what certain people, Kevin McHale, Charles Barkley, Shaq. Okay. This is what they did at the end. Kobe, remember his last year?
But there's also self-interest in this. There's self-interest if you're going to play together. And this is why when everybody looks at Lonzo Ball's game right now, they say the same thing. They say, be aggressive. At least try to get to the rim and do all of those things.
You don't need to shoot threes. So stop. Don't be in love with the three ball like all these idiots criticizing him, saying he can't shoot the three. He can do stuff. What LeBron is going to say to him is, son, when I get to this spot, you can give me the ball. According to Bob Nightingale of USA Today, the Baltimore Orioles want to trade Manny Machado, but they are afraid the team they trade Machado to will ultimately trade him to the Yankees. And the last thing on earth the AL East Orioles want is to see Machado on the Yankees beating their brains out 19 times a year. Wilbon, should the Orioles try to prevent a back-channel deal to the Yankees, or should they just make the best deal they can? The Orioles should stop whining and crying. The Orioles disgust me right now. The Orioles have a ballpark that can produce tons of revenue. The Orioles play in a rich metropolitan area of two big communities. I know the Nationals have cut severely into that, but it's still a place of 8-9 million people. It's as big as, the Bay Area, which has two teams, although one of those is poor. The Orioles are a wealthy team, Tony. They play in a division with other wealthy teams, the Red Sox and the Yankees and Toronto. Shut up and build your team and don't give away a player or expect sympathy if you do.
This is a very, very high school thing that they're doing. They say, I'd really like to date Judy, but if I do that and Donna finds in, she may not want to date me. If you are stupid
Judy
enough,
and Donna, you went straight 1950s. You want to throw Betty and Veronica in there too?
I didn't. Yeah, I grew up with Judy's and Donna's.
Kirsten and Keisha. You can go with that now, yeah.
So anyway, in this particular situation, if you feel forced or you're stupid enough to give up Manny Machado, you have to get replacement assets.
Yes.
You can't worry where this guy is going to end up down the road.
Make a deal.
You can't make this into spy versus spy. Get the best deal that you can get. That's the charge for the Orioles. This makes no sense.
What are we doing, calling Monty Hall in from the bullpen? But they can't make a deal in Baltimore? They got to whine, don't send him to the Yankees.
You can't take less. You cannot trade him to a team that makes you a deal and then you take less. And by the way, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year no matter what. So if he wants to go to the Yankees, he will.
That's right.
So shut up. Let's take a break.
We got double shut up on the Orioles. That's
what
good.
Should we reasonably expect out of Aaron Rodgers this weekend?
And what should Carmelo Anthony expect when he returns to the Garden tomorrow night?
This suit, if I walk near the Metro, this could spontaneously combust into flames.
I thought it looked flammable.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Captain Morgan. Holiday like a captain. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour. And in part by Jaguar. The art of performance.
Help protect what matters with the ADT Safer, Smarter New Year's sales event. For a limited time, get an ADT Security Starter Kit. Everything you need to get started with ADT Pulse, including a security panel, keypad, a motion sensor, and 2 entry sensors. Plus, there's an indoor camera and key fob all professionally installed for only $49. It's a $599 savings that comes with the warm, confident feeling of safety at home. Requires 36-month monitoring contract, QSP, and Easy Pay. Activation and early termination fees may apply. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com. Florida EF 0001121. Louisiana F1639. Visit ADT.com/podcast. Hurry. This special offer now ends 1/21.
Welcome back to Pardon the Interruption. Presented by Captain Morgan. Part of Happy Hour.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I'm an honorary doctor of humane letters.
About 1,000 times this week.
Letters make words, so I think you know who's going to win this game. Mm-hmm. What's first?
On Sunday, Aaron Rodgers will blank.
He'll play. That's all we know. He's going to play. Now, if they go out there and he stays upright and they beat Carolina, I'm pretty sure he'll play the next week. Because they are in a position now, the Packers, where every game is a single elimination game for the playoffs. There's this notion that Rodgers is getting up like he's getting out of a hospital bed and he's going to lead them to the playoffs. Mike, the first two games are Carolina and Minnesota. I think they're better teams than the Packers.
Tony, I kind of agree with you. I want to say my answer to this question is great cheese, because, that's what I like to make fun of the cheeseheads.
Right.
But the fact is, Aaron Rodgers is still not just great, but he is so great in big games, in big moments when they have to win. And he's done this late in seasons a couple of times, not a couple, several times. And so even though he has an opponent out there, I think it's probably a little better team, I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers is going to win on Sunday, Tony. Win.
I waited for your word. Next.
Frank Gore has had a blank career.
A hidden career. His numbers are spectacular. He gained 68 yards last night for the Colts from scrimmage, which made him only the second player in NFL history to gain at least 1,000 yards from scrimmage in 12 consecutive years. The other guy is Emmitt Smith. He has passed Jim Brown. He has passed Tony Dorsett. He has passed Eric Dickerson in rushing yards. But no one thinks of him in that category, Mike, because he's never been on a Super Bowl winning team. And his teams over the course of his career are under 500.
Well, Tony, I understand hidden. I'm also going to say still, though, it's Cantonian. I mean, no matter whether you played on bad teams or not, there have been some running backs on bad teams, and they can still wind up in Canton. I mean, when you talk about the people he passed, how about the people he could be behind if he has another 250 or so yards rushing this year? He'll be behind only Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, and Barry Sanders.
Great number.
Would you like to be a fourth with that group? How about that for a foursome? That's Canton.
Sure. Next.
Knicks fans should blank Carmelo tomorrow night.
They should thank him. Carmelo did the best he could. It didn't work out. Everybody had these grand expectations. It just didn't work out, okay? He gave us a lot of fun.
Listen to you going easy on Carmelo.
Well, he gave us a lot of fun with his back and forth with Phil Jackson. I'll tell you why I'm going to go easy on him. Because when he left without rancor. He did not insult management or ownership or other players. He didn't do what Kevin Durant or LeBron James or Paul George did. He didn't walk away from a team and just, and destroy a city. No, it ran its course, Mike. They should thank him.
They should simply get over Carmelo because the era wasn't that great. This is not the Captain Willis Reed.
No, it's not.
They won a playoff series. I thought they'd only won a playoff game. Had to look that up. It just wasn't that exciting. It wasn't that dramatic. It didn't have Jordan versus Patrick Ewing or any of that stuff. It just didn't have any great appeal. Knicks fans, get over it. Start a real run now and see if you can win a playoff series or two in the next 20 years.
Next.
Last one. It is blank that both of Herm Edwards' coordinators have now left the Arizona State program.
It's confusing. I mean, I don't really understand this. They brought him in to be the CEO because they had such great coordinators. Then the defensive coordinator quit for personal reasons. The offensive coordinator took the head coaching job at Louisiana Lafayette. So now if you're the CEO, there's no organization. What is going on here? Herm is saying, hello, where did everybody go? I don't think they put him in a position to win.
Well, Tony, this is why it's off script. Maybe there are assistant coaches there that will now be elevated to offensive and defensive coordinator, and they somehow expected, or not expected, they were okay with this happening. If not, Tony, then this is a radically different scenario than Herm perhaps, and I haven't talked to him about this, thought he was coming into. But if you're going to go in and be CEO and have coordinators you're going to lean on, that's a different plan than if you're going to go in there and sort of be more fingers on.
That's it. The doctor has spoken. Let's take one last break. Still to come, the Browns' new general manager makes another bold statement.
Got to keep the mic away from this guy. Sounds like LeVar Ball. Will the Rockets' winning streak continue tonight against the Spurs?
You're going to watch that, I'll bet.
Oh, yeah.
You know who's not going to watch that?
You.
Me. That would be correct. I'll be at Chatter. Little plug there, kids.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Captain Morgan. Holiday like a captain. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time. People happy 22nd birthday, Jahlil Okafor. Okafor and Nick Stauskas were traded over a week ago from the 76ers to the Nets. And they haven't played yet. Nets coach Ken Atkinson said, quote, "I can't give you a timetable," unquote, as to when they will play. Well, how about tonight? The terrible Nets play Toronto. This is basketball, not medical school. Put them in the game.
It is coaches in every sport now want to make you think it's all rocket science. 8 minutes? You can't find 8 to 10 minutes for these guys, and you're the Nets?
Happy anniversary, Kirk Cousins. Around this day 5 years ago, you started in place of injured fellow rookie Robert Griffin III. You threw for 329 and 2 touchdowns to lead the Redskins to a win on the road against the Browns, who stunk then, too. Cousins is in position, should the Redskins franchise him again next year, to make nearly $80 million for 3 seasons for a team he doesn't want to play for. If he ever gets to be a free agent, nobody in Washington, D.C. thinks Cousins will stay.
Tony, where's RG3 now? Is he out of the league?
Yeah, but he said the other day that he thought Philadelphia should sign him right now. Happy trails, Adrian Peterson, the 32-year-old surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, was placed on injured reserve today by the Arizona Cardinals due to a neck injury. Peterson says he wants to play in 2018, but between the Saints and the Cardinals, he has been held to under 30 yards in 6 different games this season out of the 10 he played. Mike, that's 4 more than in any other year of his career.
Tony, do you fear that this sort of pushes his Hall of Fame urgency among the voters potentially back a little? I mean, are people going to say, I hope not. He's earned it already to me.
Oh, he's earned it. There's no question about that. No errors. Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Carlos Santana left the Indians, signed with the Phillies for 3 years and $60 million. Is he a good fit?
You mean the Grammy Award-winning, fabulously talented Carlos Santana? Talking about that Carlos Santana?
Yeah, guitar player. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
John Dorsey told Cleveland Sports Radio that for him, anything less than the AFC North title next year is unacceptable. What?
Yeah, they're 1-28 in the last 2 years. This is a note to Hugh Jackson. Don't even send out your laundry. This guy's getting rid of you. The Vegas Golden Knights beat the Penguins. Is that a big deal?
They beat the champs. Signature win, like 12-2-1 at home, something like that for Vegas. What a story. Bowl season kicks off tomorrow. Give the people one to watch, Tony.
Well, the Las Vegas Bowl actually has Oregon and it has Boise State. But if you go to the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl, say hello to Jaws. Last one, Spurs at Rockets tonight. Will the Spurs snap Houston's 11-game winning streak?
Yes. How about that? Rockets having the best season than anybody. Rockets and Celtics, but I got the Spurs winning tonight on the road.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Have a great weekend, Knuckleheads. You can catch the podcast on the app or Apple Podcast.
What famous restaurant are you going to tonight?
Ooh.